So the first annual Langer tour of the Bronx.
Yes, indeed. And we have a lot
to
talk about.
Yes, you bet.
Okay, Joe.
Poor family.
Hey, Richie, how you doing? Good to see you.
Look at these fine-looking folks.
Hi, good to see you.
How you doing?
Hey, good to see you. I'm nice to Rich because he's going to pick up the tab.
Well, Matthew was here.
Matt, this is great. We have the core group.
Hello.
I have a map
You have a map?
with addresses.
You're kidding.
So we're all set. Matt brought his camera as well, so we're going to have a double dose of photographs and video.
We got multiple cameras.
Excellent. We're going to share all the videos, put it together into a saga. Your earliest memory.
The earliest memory. There I was in a warm, dark place. And suddenly, there was Dr. Teitelbaum. He said, "Oh, come on out." I said, "Well, I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd stay."
What was the first address? Were you on Crotona Park North? Is that where you were born?
No.
Where?
1003 Tinton Avenue, apartment 17, under the...
Well, I have that address there. Is that far from Crotona Park North? Should we go there too?
Well, there's nothing to see because they tore all the buildings down. They built a housing project. But across the street, there are these little houses.
Yes.
And in the basement of one of the houses, they had a little sweatshop. And they used to make embroidered napkins and tablecloths, which your mother, of course, knows all about.
So Mom went to Eagle Junior High School?
Yes.
It's also on the map, by the way.
And I want you to know that there was a uniform, and there was a white blouse with a whatever it's called, thing, like a sailor thing. And my grandmother would wash.
Hey, guy.
Uncle Bob. Your grandmother. Which grandmother?
Sadie.
Yes.
She used to wash your mother's blouse every single night and press it in the morning so she would have a clean shirt.
So tell me about Sadie. Do you have a memory of her? What was she like?
She was the best baker in the universe. When she baked things, she made pies and cakes.
What was the most favorite thing she baked for you?
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake?
And she made apple pies. Fabulous apple pies. Yeah.
I'm going to get a sandwich.
And when Uncle Bob had a birthday party, I remember this very clearly.
Lots on television now.
Yeah, I'm on television. Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The video is going. Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob was celebrating a birthday. He was sitting in a high chair, so I was young. He was sitting in a high chair, and Grandma baked him a birthday cake. Uncle Bob and his chocolate birthday cake.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're going to include Greystone Avenue. Mike's Candy Store is gone.
I remember Artie's barbershop.
Artie's barbershop.
Where was Artie's barbershop?
I should have put it in my ear.
We'll write things out.
Oh, I know exactly what it is. Now, do you remember Schwartzman's?
Yes.
Schwartzman, that
I
sounds
remember
like a
Schwartzman
name.
died in 1964.
Yes.
Schwartzman's grocery store.
Sure, I remember. I remember that store like it's the back of my hand. Wait, what's on the back of my hand?
Hey.
And then the guy who took over that place was a guy named Simon.
He was
He
simple
was
Simon.
about 4 feet tall.
That's
And he
right.
used to sing to my mother when she used to bring me in.
Take off.
Dear lady, what do you want?
What do you love? Take off
like
the
it was.
coat.
I remember it like it was 50 years ago.
Which it was.
Can I get my question?
It had very narrow aisles.
Manuscripts I want to have them copyrighted. Do I have to go through a whole process?
No, they're already
We're
copyrighted.
talking about Uncle Bob's
It
original
was the entire
songs.
14th floor.
Peach with the strawberry.
Strawberry Peach with the strawberry
Masquerade.
smile.
A
Masquerade.
girl with a personality plus.
Yes.
Oh, and he also
Walk in the woods or walk in the
no,
park.
c'est bon. And he used to sing. He used to walk around the apartment.
Andrew worked there, so did Elliot at one time.
Like the French people do.
Is that his
That
too?
one would never become a hit.
But I think Masquerade has potential.
I think sure.
So it has to be registered.
Yeah, but we have to write that in the music.
Yes. Uncle Arthur, what are the other songs that Uncle Bob wrote?
What did the uncle?
They got the
Other songs.
Supposed to bring me my coffee.
Masquerade.
He wrote, I'm the crazy guy who's in love with a girl. With a crazy guy like me.
Yeah, we're in it. So she just came back.
We have to register them. We'll make Uncle Bob a YouTube star.
They'll be registered on the most wanted list. You'll see them appearing in a
And so the head of
post
their
office.
real estate practice was a guy named
Auntie?
She lived,
Auntie.
yes,
Auntie.
just like,
Aunt Ethel.
Etta
Weimar. Etta Weimar.
That's right. Etta Weimar, yes. Etta Weimar. Etta Weimar. Well, Etta Weimar lived there.
Where?
Our cousin, 48th and Broadway.
Okay.
And it was World War II, and her son, Bert, was with the 8th Division. And they were somewhere in Europe. They went through Northern Europe, Northern France, into Germany, Belgium, the Hurtgen Forest, the whole nine yards.
We took a trip through there.
And she hadn't heard from her son in a month. There was no mail, and she was getting hysterical. She had 2 dogs that she liked to walk in the streets before the poop scoop law. And she had her dogs, and she saw an officer with an 8th Division patch walking down 8th Division. That's a large 8 with a golden.
Yeah.
And she stopped him on the street. Where's the 8th Division? Where's the 8th Division? And this guy became disturbed and suspicious, so they called the police.
Really?
Oh,
Really?
They called the police because she may have been a spy. You know, we were controlling
It was the Nazi armband that gave her away.
Fritz Kuhn and the American Bund.
Not at that one.
So she was almost pinched.
Oh, wow.
But she convinced everyone that she's a mother and so on and so forth. And she made Walter Winchell's column.
Really?
The Walter Winchell's column about a woman. The woman
With the 2 dogs.
And then
Right outside.
in Times Square who was making inquiries about certain army units.
And then she gets a letter 2 weeks later from Bert saying, "Mom, stop pestering people on the streets."
I want to tell you.
And she should have kept that apartment, believe
Okay,
me.
tell me a story with Bert.
The story with Bert was Mother wrote a poem. First of all,
Mother? No, it wasn't Mother who wrote the poem. It was
Howie wrote
who
the
wrote the poem.
Yeah.
It's all for Uncle Sam, boy. Anyway, this poem wasn't sent directly to Bert.
Wait. The connection was that on Sunday morning, they used to have a program on radio called Camp Wheeler Presents or Speaks.
Right.
With the music, with the army music, and it told about Camp Wheeler, where Bert was at that time. That's where he was
Wait a
stationed.
minute. Put me on camera, quickly.
I think,
Camp
Cheryl,
Wheeler.
I'll have one camera on your mom. I'll have one camera on my
That's good, and we'll edit it together.
Camp Wheeler had its own theme song every Sunday morning.
Yes.
Oh, we hail to the kings of the highway. We'll fight for Uncle Sam. And it went on ad nauseum. But your grandmother wasn't content just to send it to Bert. She sent it to the commanding general of Camp Wheeler, Georgia.
The poem?
And she wanted to broadcast.
And Bert wouldn't do it.
Want to make sure Bert heard it in
So
France.
what happened? Bert said, "Sir, you'll have to shoot me."
He said, I'd rather be court-martialed.
That's a true story.
That's a true story.
Exactly.
Story. Where is Matthew? Oh,
Matthew.
Come here,
Moving
Matt.
this.
Follow
This
up
is
the
a
story.
story of your grandmother and your father. Your father was in Fort Dix. And of course, Bob was eating 3 squares a day. First time.
And he was the only guy in the barracks. He told me, I think I know the same story, where he sat there and people were gagging on the food. They would gag. They couldn't get it down their throat. And my dad was
Chowing down.
2 forks, one in each hand. He said he never had food this good.
Which was true. So it was better than grazing in Potomac Park.
Making grass soup.
So your grandmother took pen in hand and wrote the command in general for Dix. Thanking him for all the nutritious food her son loved.
Is that true?
It's a true story. Yeah, they almost gave him a Section 8. Oh God. So listen, all I can say is you've come from these zany roots.
It explains a lot.
When Bob was sent to El Salvador, remember?
Yes.
Wait a minute, what? Hold on. This is a story. Shows us.
It was not El
For the
Salvador.
Rosario
No.
Mining Company.
Honduras. New York and Honduras, Rosario.
Okay. And they sent him at age 19, his first job, to Honduras to
El
take.
Salvador.
I think it was that, whatever, one of those places. I think it was Honduras. And they sent him to take a survey of the
Inventory.
mine.
To
and
close
an
the mine. I
inventory.
think it was said to
Closing
close the mine.
Okay.
So he writes me a letter and it says, personal on the outside, and my mother was there that day and she brought me the letter, just, oh, it's from Bob, open it. So we opened it and the first thing it said was, don't tell Mom. There are soldiers surrounding us, guarding us. The Jeep comes in once a week with supplies. And parenthetical, Bob had said, I always expected Mom to jump out of the Jeep.
And I met a young officer named Oliver North.
And what happened was, he said, don't tell Mom. Immediately, if not sooner, she called the head of this corporation, the president of the corporation, and said, please send my son home. This is an art story.
But
When Art was in first grade, he couldn't read, but he scored 165 on the IQ. And they didn't hold him over because of his 165 IQ.
Oh,
But they said he must
thank you.
practice his reading during the summer. So every day I would sit with him until by the end of the summer, oh, thank you, here.
And you know what book that was?
Until by the end of the summer, he was saying, poor little fellow, he would look into the book and almost memorizing.
I did.
The boy is Peter, the girl is Peggy. Peter has a dog.
The dog is big, the dog is brown. Peggy has her cat, the cat is little, the cat is white. Box them all.
His brother was a taxi driver. And he was involved in some kind of a crash or whatever it was. He was told, he appeared in court, taken to court, and he was told he really should hire a lawyer to represent him. And Clara, Uncle Lou's wife, came to Dad and said, Morty, get me a lawyer, please. He needs a lawyer. It's very important. Dad said, don't worry about it.
Dad put on a good suit.
That day, as court opened, and Clara said, where's the lawyer? Dad said, you're looking at him. So he came before the judge. He said, the judge said, well, who was the lawyer defending this man? And Dad came before him. And he said, I'm Counselor Cullen from the Lower East Side. That was it. Apparently he won the case.
Of course he won the case. I mean,
Judge must have looked at him and said, case dismissed.
We went back to driving.
He probably took a look at him and said, case dismissed.
oh, that's funny.
That was it.
All right, Dad, explain the power of the schmooze.
It doesn't need it.
It doesn't need an explanation.
This guy
Either you
was
have it or you don't.
intelligent, insightful, with a great deal of expertise in any subject you would raise. He had the power of the schmooze, which is carried on through generations.
That was good. I got that on camera.
Did you? I'm so nervous.
Me
with all these
too, me
cameras around,
too.
I can't even eat.
Power of the schmooze.
It's the power of the schmooze. See?
Elliot
Matt?
and I were.
Matt,
Don't underestimate
you know,
Elliot and I were at Dick's Sporting.
never underestimate.
Okay, we're moving out. We're moving out. How many cars? How many cars?
How many? We have three here.
Okay, all right. So we're in Little Italy of the Bronx, and this is where Mom taught. What school is that,
In
Mom?
1949,
Yes.
PS 74.
So, first stop, Crotona Park North. And the building with the green fire escapes, I think, is the building. And here is Crotona Park. Here we are.
The
Where?
acid thrower.
In here?
Wait a minute. Get you mic'd.
They're getting oh my God.
Where is everybody else?
Chris and Collar back behind you, and Dad and Matt are right up there. Hold on, not yet.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, this is where that felon, B.P. lived. He threw acid in his girlfriend. He hired
Oh,
somebody,
thank you. Okay,
And
yes.
then she married him.
and then she married him. Right.
Go figure.
That's love.
Go figure.
So what do you think?
It's nice. I love it.
The story goes that the family was too poor to buy food. They used to go across the street in the park, gather the grass to make grass soup.
No.
No.
That's what he said.
And when we heard that they were fixing it up, we got so excited because it was the most. Wow.
Which is the building?
705. Oh my God, this is it. But 701 is the other address.
Well,
Can we
that's
go
gotta be
in?
the-
Yeah, why not? This is the family manor.
The estate.
The estate.
You know something? I dare say, which would be nicer, the estate here or the estate in Romania?
Where the forests are.
The forests of Dornavatra.
Oh, wait, I'm going to walk up.
Come on, do you want to step inside?
Yes.
Is that where your apartment was?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Come.
Sure, let's all go inside.
Come on, Dad. Where's Richard? I got it. Oh.
Oh, this is where my apartment was. Hello. You don't mind.
A little,
Family getting together.
My mom grew up in that apartment.
yeah, over here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a long.
Oh, Matt's in here. Hold on. Wait a minute. What's the story here?
Are you kidding? This was,
Okay, where are you?
this is the bedroom.
This was your bedroom?
This was my parents' bedroom.
Is it the same size?
It's a little small.
I thought you were going to tell me it was a little
I'll
bigger.
say. Okay, what else, Uncle Ogmer?
This was the living room.
This was the living room?
Living
Also
room,
a little
and the
small.
four of us lived in this bedroom.
Aww.
But that's why it was so big. And if you,
Wow.
wow, that little house is still there.
Which little, oh,
There was a fire escape here.
there's still a fire escape
Here's the
there.
little garage.
I'll tell you the truth, it's very nice of them to let us in.
Neat.
Careful, careful.
So this was your bedroom?
You know what this reminds me of? They have that thing on television. They redid the whole place, and he said, "Where's my bedroom?"
Where was the kitchen?
Closet.
Where was the kitchen?
We had to take a little piece of your room to do the kitchen. I don't know, the kitchen was there.
This was the kitchen here?
No, over here.
And you slept in the living room?
Less than the living room. This
Where's
was
the
our
kitchen?
bedroom.
But wait a minute.
Oh, the kitchen used to be here.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, there was another apartment next door.
The Goldsteins.
Yes.
He was wounded. Ruby was wounded in South Pacific. Did you know that? Machine gun fire. Yeah.
Knows everything.
So does any of this look remotely familiar, or is it all
No, are you kidding?
done?
There are windows and walls. Please.
Windows like this?
No.
No. What were the windows like?
With windows
Had
sashes.
what they call
Ah.
blinds windows, slits in the wall.
Pretty neat, huh? Oh, here's the original staircase.
Show us your bedroom.
What bedroom?
We're in it.
Until
Yeah, show us your bedroom.
I was in college somewhere. I had.
I think they want to stop.
Was this
Yeah.
another apartment?
Oh yes, the Goldstein.
This was an apartment.
All right, we have to go. I think we've.
All right, we're in the way.
It's a lovely photo.
In the original apartment.
What do you mean when?
That's right. That's the spirit.
That's
Tell
this.
us about the park. Did you play in the park
Play
often?
in the park. The park was our savior.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Absolutely.
From
There was
sun up to.
tennis.
Oh, by the way, I have to tell the story about your father.
Tell the
I have to tell
story.
you about
Tell
your
the story.
father.
Yeah, one more. That's
We
the
had a
picture.
baseball team.
Yes.
Just kids from the buildings. And we used to play baseball in the summer. We had no organization, but we used to ask teams from the area to play us. Our record in the one summer, 50, 51,
Look this way,
was
Fred.
19 and 10. And you want to know something?
What?
19 and 10. That was a championship season. And you want to know something? Your father pitched every single game.
You're
He
kidding.
was some pitcher.
He was in fact, he was the only
Yay.
kid in the neighborhood who could reach home plate. But
Do you remember, I was telling them the story of Bob when he was almost a candidate for the Olympics?
yeah, I
And
was
that
telling
year,
Matt, but yeah, everybody went on strike.
they went on strike.
Oh,
They
sons of
couldn't-
bitches.
Everybody's
Anyway,
What happened? Where did the vegetable truck hit the fence?
oh,
Oh,
let's go
yeah,
see
right.
the vegetable truck hitting the fence.
Yeah,
Come
let's
on.
go to the vegetable.
It's over here, right?
Yes. The light didn't exist. It was a full stop. It was a full stop. And the driver went through the full stop. He was hit sideways by a car coming southbound. The truck, there was no stanchion or no raised whatever, sidewalk divide. And he hit the fence. It crashed. And when this accident occurred, we were playing across the street in that playground. We played stickball, pitching in over there. And we ran across the way. The poor driver, who was like clinging on to life. We didn't concern ourselves with him, but we were concerned about the lugs of vegetables and fruits. So everyone picked out a choice lug. Some lucky guy got the lug of cherries. We got apples, whatever. And the rest is.
Meanwhile, the driver lays down, bleeding in the street, but somebody got a handful of cherries.
Yeah.
A lug of cherries.
This year was 1946.
In 1946, so we're talking almost 70 years ago, and the fence is still bent from where the truck hit it.
Now,
Let's see where the fence is.
I see.
I have a picture.
This is where the vegetable truck
it. Now, I used to play. I used to play on those rocks. You see that cut in the rock in the front?
I do.
That is a glacial scour. And so you can see glacial scour marks on top of that outcropping. So it's all,
Going back?
and your grandfather used to walk down this road to play bocce in the park.
So, where did you get the grass for the grass suit?
Oh, right here. This is good. Look at this.
Wait a moment.
Yum, yum.
I have a picture, Art.
Uh,
There used to be benches here.
That's right.
And I have a picture of Auntie, Uncle Eddie, I believe in uniform, Aunt Edith, and Uncle Al in uniform when they came in and they came to visit
Well, the
us.
reason they removed the benches was that they didn't want to encourage loitering.
Probably. God knows.
I have another story to tell you.
Let's walk down by the tennis court.
No, wait a minute.
hold on.
I have a story to
No,
tell
Richie
you.
and Dad are going back to the car.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I have the story to tell you. Everyone in the neighborhood had a nickname, a moniker.
A moniker.
And my nickname,
that's how
Asa boy.
Asa Boy. Later they called me Ossie, but Asa Boy. And I was given that name by someone who lived in this building. His name was A.B. Udelson.
I remember the name. I don't
A.B. Udelson. And A.B. Udelson, many years later when I was at Columbia and I was doing postgraduate work, I was here with Don Bowes. We were looking at the rocks. And down in the handball courts, we saw A.B. Udelson.
Oh my God.
And we were,
What year?
this is about 1965, maybe. And so A.B. Udelson, I said, "Abe, what are you doing now?" He said, "I'm a professor of English at Smith." It's not bad.
Right.
But Abe gave everyone a nickname. You know what Herb Feldman's nickname was? Little Herbie. Little
Now
Herbie.
listen.
Clever for an English professor.
And I,
Little Herbie
Wait a
was the
minute.
name of a comic strip.
Oh, I see.
I want all eyes to turn to that white building.
All right, hold on.
Oh, there. Wait.
Wait,
my
let's
alma
let's
mater.
drive
Let's go
by it. Let's drive by it.
Well, we can
Well,
walk.
No, it's
No.
easier to
No,
drive.
no.
We're
Well,
going
that's
around the
your
park.
job. But I want to tell you, wait. I have to
I
tell
want to get a
you.
picture of my dad in front of the rocks.
I have a story.
I want to
Okay,
hear
All
it.
right, story.
Wait.
Very, very interesting.
And the story is, focus on the white building.
Okay, the story, Mom.
The S. Do you know what S stands for?
I could guess.
The landlord's name was Smolaroff. How's
That's
that?
the S on the chimneys.
Let's look here and look at the white building.
White building.
That is PS4 on it.
PS4.
But I don't know. It wasn't white. Wasn't it a big red building?
Well,
Maybe
it
they
changed
redid
colors.
it.
Let's drive by.
But I'll tell you this.
It's sandstone building.
When we had a very heavy snowstorm,
I trudged through this park.
Art and Herbie used to go to PS4, the other side of the park.
We didn't have the advantage of a bus. We
And they-
walked.
And they
Without
used to walk.
snowshoes.
Wait a minute. They used
Right,
to walk
without
on top of the benches because they didn't have snowshoes. They didn't have no shoes. They didn't have
Yeah, snowshoes. They're not shoes. we ate grass, for Christ's sake.
And you lived in the kitchen.
And I lived in the 67 is gone.
Oh, that's where Stanley Kahane lived.
That's
over
right,
there. Yes.
667.
The blizzard of 47?
I think my dad has some.
Blizzard of 47, the snow piles must have been 8 feet high. And we would stand on those snow piles. We took pictures.
Corner up here, and the construction worker pulls us. He goes, "Come here." He goes, "Are you lost and are you okay?"
And you said, this is my
I said, "We're
homeland.
just looking for our dad. He grew up here." He goes, "Lots changed."
That is the quote of the day.
One more.
With the building in the background.
Can you take a picture of me for a second?
Cheryl, where's your dad?
In the car.
I think that's
You're changing lens. Uh-oh, we're getting professional here. Oh, that's a great
Okay,
idea.
so this is a souvenir from my dad, who can't be here. He's in Florida. It's I pulled it from the rubble of the building.
And may I
And,
add that Matthew was really looking for the family fortune, and this is
and this is it.
And this is it.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Now we're driving to which public school, Mom?
Art and Bob's,
All right. P.S.
44.
We're in this school, so I went to the first and second grade here.
What school is this?
This is, it's called PS 44. It is also called the David Farragut Junior High School.
It's now a junior high school.
the
However,
first and second grades were
we're
here.
here, so you went there.
You see these windows?
Yeah.
I remember the windows were taped. This is
Because
the second
it was the war.
It was the war.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
tapes on the windows. This is 1942. So 1942 is when I started school.
And you used to walk to school.
Of course.
Now
What's the matter
here,
with you? Your Uncle
This is-
Howard used to walk with me.
Now it says this has been designated the Acción Academy Middle School,
Right.
which means it's 6, 7, and 8.
Where we're going, Fulton? Where
Yes.
you were born?
Yes.
What's the address, Mom?
1627.
Mom and Uncle Howie were born here.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, dear.
Hi.
We're just on a little family outing. I
Okay.
was born in this building
Really?
in 1928.
Wow. Welcome back. 1928. My goodness. That's
Yes.
good. That's nice.
So our children and my
Of course.
brothers,
Of course.
etc.
So you want to see what the old neighborhood looks like?
Yes.
Okay.
And they tell me last time we was here, they
Sorry.
told me that there had been a fountain here.
Yes, there was a fountain here when it was.
This is
private
where
owner.
Fran and Howie
Right now,
were
born.
born.
This is where.
Fran and Howie
Oh.
were born in this house.
20.
In the house.
I was born in one of those rooms.
Which room, Mom?
Brother, I
Point
don't know.
point to it.
I don't know.
Point to your apartment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They used to, now he's going to tell us a story. So
Well, it's
Okay.
not a story. It's that currently it's a city shelter, which is very nice because
Very
people
nice.
need that type of assistance.
Right.
And that's what it's turned into currently.
good. And I see there's good security.
Security and everything else. I
Good.
mean, you know.
Good. That's
So
good.
that's what it is.
Did they reconfigure the apartment?
I'm sure they did, probably many times since you last recognized it.
Yeah.
But of course, everything was re-renovated. So, you know, big apartments turn into 2 apartments.
Good. That's okay.
yeah.
It's a place, and
Yeah.
everybody has their independence.
That's right.
And
So,
they have a feeling of
Right.
security. And there's
yes.
something- Brothers, because we lived on Tacoma Park North, used to go with some screens, and they tried to fish with
metal.
those screens.
Yeah.
So,
This is PS4. I student taught here in 1947. Arthur was a student. He was in the 6th grade.
oh,
And when I spoke to his 4th grade teacher, in whose room I was, and she was the mentor teacher, and she knew that Art was my brother, she said, you know, he never completed anything. He always jumped from one activity to another. And when your mother came to visit me, she said to me, I can't understand it. My Arthur can sit and work at something. And I said, Mrs. Gross, that was not exactly the truth. Isn't this a red building?
On this corner, this is where Leo Bluestein lived. I met him after PS4. I met him on the Columbia campus.
Right?
He was finishing his PhD in electrical engineering.
I did not say that about Leo Bluestein.
I wanted to say it anyway.
I said, wasn't this a red brick building?
Yes, it was.
And so what did they put over it? Eh?
I'd rather talk about Leo Bluestein.
Right.
okay.
There were 3 guys. We used to play punch ball in the yard, and if you hit it over the fence, it was a home run.
Oh.
The home run leader was Rocky Colavito.
Yes, Rocky Colavito.
The second guy was Russian. I never knew his name, but he was Russian.
He was always
There's always
very
someone
quick.
named
He was
Russian.
always able to get on base.
And oh yeah, he was
Why?
he was second.
Because he was Russian.
And let's find out if the school's open.
We're wondering if we could get in. So here we are, 4.
After school, like
Mr. Lockett.
3:30.
Mhm.
But in the back of the schoolyard, Herb Feldman used to play cards. You know, you flip the cards and you won. So he got locked in. Oh, it was a to-do.
So this
Where my
is
father went to school.
where Mom's dad, my grandfather, went to school. In what year, Mom?
Oh God, 1900 something, but I have his school record because I went to a conference in the school and they pulled everything out of the files.
Records, they still have it, his records in this school. She requested them
I
about
did.
a year or
Mother,
two
my
ago.
Mother.
It's Marcus Langer's school?
No, it's Morton Langer's
My
school.
grandfather.
Yes, so
Okay.
it's a great grandfather.
I recorrect. It is my grandfather's school.
Right.
Wait, so whose school is it?
Morton Langer,
It is
our
Morton Langer's school.
grandfather's school.
Okay, I figured as much.
And we have his school records.
Washington Avenue, they had a house on Washington.
They owned a house?
They owned a house.
What
My
happened to the house?
The same thing that happened to the fortune in Romania.
So where was
But
the
they
house
did.
located? You have the address?
Washington Avenue.
And where?
I don't know. I might have it on those school records.
Okay, we'll have to figure that out.
Now,
Yes. Next stop. Next stop.
Next
on
up,
183rd and Washington Avenue, which is behind us, Millie Bly lived.
oh, we're not going
Okay.
to Millie Bly. Oh, please. That's enough. We're going to go west to Riverdale.
So this is what
Okay,
we
Grace,
Following-
Greystone
Following the
Avenue.
advice of Horace Greeley, we
Go
shall
west.
go west.
Young
Now,
man.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to
And
go
so
to
what we
Greystone
do-
Avenue starting at Uncle Bob and Aunt Sarah's and
We
work our
take
way.
Webster
We're going to
Avenue
Greystone Avenue where
Yes,
we
we'll
to
work.
Marshall
Okay.
Parkway.
Yes.
Back.
Siblings.
Siblings.
Okay.
There's Fred, Lou, and Jeffrey, or
Jeff.
Julius.
Julius.
Fred had a daughter and a son,
Millie Bly.
Millie Bly and
Philip, who became
Philip Bly. He was
Who
a
am I-
professor
who
of.
am I
He
met?
was
Who
a
am I met?
professor of psychology.
Yes, education psychology, University of Colorado. He was at Utah, and he converted to Mormonism.
So he's a Mormon, and your soul is saved. Okay.
and he converted
kids did he have?
Marcus.
He had 3.
He's not doing his job.
That's right.
Philip had
doing his
3.
job.
He also
I'm sure he did
separated
his
from.
job.
I'm
He
sure
was
he
also
separated from
divorced.
his
was
wife.
separated.
Oh,
And so, if you were to,
Step this way, I want to get a picture.
his daughter, one was a lawyer in Washington.
Yes,
They carried the Langer name,
yes.
and another daughter. I think she was killed in a barroom fight. No, nothing is exciting.
really
as that.
carrying on the Langer name in that regard.
Yeah. And there was
No,
a
another
son
daughter and a
who
son
was.
who was challenged.
He
Who
was challenged. He was.
He was challenged to
He
a
was
barroom
challenged.
fight.
It was sad. Okay, then there was Lou. Lou had 2 daughters and a son. Irwin, who was killed in an airplane crash at Idlewild Airport.
He was sitting in the wrong part of the plane.
He was sitting in the wrong part of the plane. He was killed. Eastern
Trudy.
Airlines. There's Trudy, and there was Trudy is gone, and there was
Sylvia.
Sylvia. She's
Sylvia's
gone.
gone too.
So that part of the family is defunct.
And they had moved to California.
Then there is Jeff. Excellent.
Good.
There's Jeff. Jeff died very young.
Right. And he had 3 children.
He had 3 children.
Marvin,
Stanley,
and Barbara.
and Rose. No, Rose was
Rose
the
was
wife.
his wife.
Yeah,
And
but
they lived in McKeesport, Pennsylvania.
and they had a
We
lot
don't
of
know.
interesting problems.
Yes. But
Yeah, so we're just,
Rose had a lot of family in McKeesport, so that's where they stayed. He
That's
died
right.
young. Oh, tragic.
the whole thing. It was
And I always felt
distasteful.
if they lived in New York,
Yes,
those kids who were bright
yeah.
would have gotten a good education and they would have made something.
PS4 right
It's
there.
the concourse. This is Taft High School, where Mom was in the second graduating class. What year, Mom?
1943.
3840 Greystone Avenue. We moved here when I was 5. We lived in a one-bedroom that had a enclosed dining alcove, which I shared with Richie, my brother. There used to be huckleberry trees right up front. We used to eat the huckleberries right off the trees. And there were also huckleberry bushes along the side here. Across the street was a vacant lot, which used to double as our playground. And it was there that I found my first pet, a snail. If Richie was born here, then we moved here when I was 3,
3.
not 5.
No.
Right, no.
3.
And Magda Goodman used to live here.
And right, and they lived on coming up on 3810, which was where Uncle Arthur lived with my grandfather right after my grandmother passed away. And then Uncle Arthur moved, when I guess Grandpa passed away, to the studio right here on the first floor. That was Uncle Arthur's apartment. Then Uncle Arthur and Aunt Betty moved upstairs in the same building when they got married. Tell us your story about 3810 Greystone.
Well, I was born here, and I lived here for about the first 3 years of my life.
Uh-huh.
And then we moved over to 3636 Greystone,
Yes, we're going to go down there.
which we will visit. And Uncle Arthur and Aunt Betty, I believe, have
They lived here.
My dad,
Yes.
this studio apartment. He was looking for housing. He was living at the Columbia graduate dorms,
Right.
and Uncle Bob said, "Hey, there's
on to
a
my-
studio
right.
apartment in my building,
Right.
$58 a month." The price was right, and he made the move to the boogie down Bronx.
Now, we have to say that the Langers have a very short attention span. We're now dumpster diving. No, take it.
I don't know. I can't. I will not show up with that at home.
Why?
I will not be allowed to come anywhere near the house.
I see Mike's Candy Store is now a Chinese restaurant. And Boxer's Pharmacy, you can play some lotto. 3636 Greystone is where Uncle Bob and Aunt Sarah and Matt, Mike, and Joe lived. They lived in a 2-bedroom. The 3 boys shared 1 bedroom. And I used to babysit for them, and I used to make 35 cents an hour, which even in those days was a little low. They had a big painting of a woman who exposed her behind, and everybody called her Tushy Nega. What happened?
So, my dad used to give me a quarter to buy the Sunday New York Times. And I would walk along the street. It seemed like it was forever. You know, it seemed like
From
it was
3636.
like a half-hour walk. You know, it's 20 feet. And I would go in there, and he would say, Mike, the proprietor, would say, "You're Langus boy, aren't you?" And I'd say yes. Give him the quarter, carry the newspaper back. That's what I did.
So a legend of now near mythic proportions happened on this spot. The thing that truly traumatized my sister when she was younger,
Yes.
as she was sitting here at the counter at Mike's Luncheonette, having an egg cream, because of course, this being the Bronx and this being a luncheonette in the Bronx, you have to have an egg cream sitting at the counter. And as she reached the bottom, let me just slide over a little bit.
It was a roach.
As she reached the bottom of the egg cream, she began to do what all 5-year-olds do and blow bubbles into her egg cream.
Uh-oh.
And Dad glared at her and said, "Stop that now!" Traumatizing her forever. And Erica made that sound.
I hope you're taking that
I just
home.
recounted the story of you traumatizing Erica by glaring at her when she was blowing into her egg cream.
She blows, blowing into her egg cream.
And what did you say?
Stop it!
Stop that.
And it scarred her forever.
Aw.
I take
All right,
full
Schwartzman's,
responsibility.
I stand corrected. Schwartzman's is the place with the yellow awning. I thought it was where the flag is. but I still remember the inside.
Oh, wait, Cheryl, you haven't gotten the best part of it yet.
This could be
No,
a
I
good
have- I
time
have
for the
the-
intervention that we need to have.
You want it, Chris? I know you really want
Yeah, it's just what we need.
Yeah, I think the tail probably does articulate in some way. Maybe not. All right.
Someone took the eyes out. That really pisses me off.
They took the head off.
No, those are the arms.
They took the arms off and the head.
it. It's all right.
Here, let me hold on to this for you for a little while.
Never doubt that the eyes were over here.
That's right.
No.
What do you mean?
Ah.
No.
No, that's a wonderful
Send this to a
feeling.
good home. Somebody's gonna come by. They're gonna bring that home.
No, I'm taking it.
Are you? What? You're putting. So what?
This is the apartment where
It's a. It's a beautiful piece of art.
636 Greystone Avenue. Now, Robert Silverstein, who was my best friend, who lived on the 5th floor, and I used to play behind this gate. Oh, yes, so two things. One is that we had a super. His name was John the Super. Nobody knew anything more about
That was
him.
a fitting last
It's just John the Super.
kind of a last
And
name.
he was
Just a
used to
coincidence.
say, get out of there. Get out of there. And we used to buy at Mike's over here these styrofoam toy airplanes.
Oh, I remember those,
And
sure.
we used to fly them, and this was our playground here, where the barbed wire is. This was our playground.
Ah.
See,
Was it always like this, an open space?
well, it's much. They really spruced it up, actually, since we were here. You could see they painted the garages, and they put up a new fence. They put up a
Razor
new
wire.
yes, and
Razor
fresh,
wire this time.
fresh razor wire. Step over here. Yeah, this is the playground. Yes. Here it is.
Let's tell you about it.
Yes.
This concerns a Christmas gift that Uncle Bob bought for
I
Matt.
know, yes.
And this was a Stutz Bearcat
Yes.
car.
Ooh.
Battery operated.
Ooh.
Press the pedal and it went. Well, I got a call Christmas Eve. Uncle Bob,
Arthur, how
help
do you
me,
build
help me.
this thing?
How do you put it together? How do you? So I said, okay, I'll come over and help you. I'll bring tools. We put it together. We sweated. We said, my God, it's just a crazily complicated. We put it together. It was working. Christmas morning.
1964.
Matt awakens. He has the Stutz Bearcat.
And a big box.
Also the carton
Yes.
in which it was packed. And Matt was so happy. And he
Couldn't get me
played.
out of the box.
He played with the carton. It was fabulous. And Uncle Bob sat in the Stutz Bearcat.
Steps.
Oh, I got another one.
The cornflakes. You gonna tell the
They were
cornflake
riding
stories?
their bicycle through riding the
Oh,
tricycle.
yes. Michael was riding his tricycle. He liked to spread out cornflakes because it made a nice sound, crunchy. And he used to ride his tricycle over the crushed cornflakes.
In the house?
Yes.
Of course, in the
Yes,
house.
on the carpet.
Do you know all three boys shared the one bedroom?
Yeah.
Joe had a crib.
Hey, at least he had a crib. You know, in the old days, they'd pull out a dresser drawer.
That's right.
Wrapped in
That's his
newspaper in a
playground.
closet in
That's the
South
playground.
Florida.
We're going
Wow.
up there with
All right.
Are you sure she's still there,
That's where
Tushinea?
Tushinea
So who has
is,
dibs
yeah.
on Tushinea?
Okay,
You
listen.
can have her.
Everyone to White Castle.
Ooh.
Matt and I,
Liebman's
Deli.
Ooh.
If we can find a parking place.
No
Yeah,
worry.
Okay, so this is where my grandparents, your
Yes,
parents
when
lived.
they were both ill.
When they were both
Mainly
ill?
My mother. Now, there used to be stained glass windows here, but I think somebody took them out.
Yeah. Do you remember where their apartment was located in this building?
Uncle Arthur's in the apartment.
Uncle Arthur lived there too, that's right.
Yeah. They used to have beautiful stained glass windows in there.
Yeah.
but it's not.
It was a
there.
depressing apartment, I remember.
Yeah. Well, it was depressing because she was so sick.
What years? It would be the late 50s, right?
57.
This was part of 3840, and as a kid, I used to love to go in here and find what I would call Rockies, which were actually pieces of crockery. I guess people threw things out of the window, but I would find them as tremendous treasures.
Another story. It must have been 50 years ago. My father brought back from Japan a pair of walkie-talkies that took those square 9-volt batteries. I don't even know whether they have those anymore. But we walked out. Richie was all the way down the hill, and I was at the top of the hill at the corner of Waldo Avenue and the hill, which must have been, what, Riverdale Avenue?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we'd see how far we could be and still hear each other on the walkie-talkie. So, you know, those walkie-talkies, it must have been maybe $2, who knows. After about 15 feet, we lost the reception. You know, so it was, can you hear me? You know, it was like one of
You'd be
those
better off with strings and 2 cans.
Dixie cups.
Oh,
But
God.
it was
That was
fun.
fun.
It was
You
fun.
had a little red car with a hole in the back seat,
No,
hole in the floor,
never,
hole in
never
the
a
floor,
hole,
and
never
we
a
used
hole.
to take
He
all of
knows
the
that.
garbage
I know that.
and drive into Fieldston, and
And
Uncle
drop it.
Arthur would say, "Bombs away," and we used to throw all the
That
garbage.
was my Hillman Minx convertible.
And that was the same car that you hit. Well, it's blocked now.
No,
the
it was-
firebox, and it set it off.
That's right.
Set it off, and
I
fire
skidded.
trucks
Yeah,
came.
I skidded on the gravel.
Believe.
Whatever it was.
And it brought the fire trucks. It was very
Yeah, I
frightening.
said, look what happened.
Gosh, this used to be my playground at 3840. They used to have swings and everything in here. Andy, how was it? The first
It was
one.
exactly what I had anticipated. This was exactly what we wanted to do. Better than expected.
Yeah, beautiful weather too.
You know, certainly the most fortunate thing being that we were able to get into the North Crotona Park
Yes.
apartment building and see the apartments.
Yes.
No, really, I think it's a right call to do this on an annual basis.
Yes. We have more places to see. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.